Bar with Steve. This is episode 31. We're continuing the segment from the last episode, Versus. We're taking the segment from the last episode and going right into a new episode. I might have said in the last episode we were doing 8. That 8 turned into 4. Now this episode we can do the next 4. Time is a time constraint. Now we'll be doing the next 4 on today's episode. Episode 31. Right, so then moving forward, we got the 4 more beers. And the 4 more beers is this. I'm going to match up Stella Artois. Stella Artois makes a 0 beer. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that one. That's one of the ones I didn't know. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Stella Artois making a 0 beer. And then Peroni, another great beer. The Italian beer, Peroni, makes a 0 beer also. I figured they'd pair well together. And so let's move into those two. Peroni and Stella Artois, 0 beers. Stella Artois, a nice labeling here, really good labeling. Probably a lot like the Big Brother Stella Artois. Gotta be fancy. Stella, Peroni, exploded a little bit. I had them in the freezer. I wanted them to be ice cold. Ice cold. Even frosty. So let's do Stella versus Peroni. Here's Stella Artois. European mass export smell. But one of the better ones when we talk about the real beers, Stella. One of the better ones from out of Europe. For me, in my opinion, Stella is right on point. We'll see how the 0 beer goes. Nice and light bodied. I would imagine it's a bit more light bodied than the actual Stella. Because you've removed the alcohol and all that, but I like it. It's pretty good. That's Stella. Real drinkable. Not overpowering with some of these European beers have a bit of a skunkiness to them. Doesn't make them bad. I mean, it doesn't make them really bad. It's a known thing that sometimes these European beers, their flavors aren't always what they're cut up to be when they're imported. It's just something that happens. And then you gotta decide which one is best. Here's Peroni, the Italian beer. I do like the Italian beer Peroni. Also another good beer. We'll see how they go as a 0 beer. This one's really frosty. Tastes a bit different than the Stella. We have to decide which one is best. Similar tasting, but I do taste some differences. This one's really frosty. I might have had it in the freezer a little too long. Has a nice crisp taste. They taste very similar. I paired them together because I thought it would be a good matchup. And I guess I was right, but they're about the same. I just have to decide which one is better. They have the same type of taste. Now if you drink beer and you drink these European beers, you should they're somewhat similar. They taste a certain way, and all you can say is, well, that's a European beer. A lot of these beers from Denmark and that was from Belgium, I think. Brewed in the USA, Stella Artois, St. Louis. This wasn't imported. This one was made in the States. That's also interesting. I expected these to be imported. This one imported into. This is from Italy. Well, I know that it's from Italy, but it is actually imported into Washington, D.C. But this is an actual import. It came over the seas. Stella was actually made here. I'm thinking that maybe, I don't know if it was just a zero beer or if all Stella is now made in the States. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure Stella is from Belgium or something. But yeah, European beers. Like Holland. The Netherlands, you know. I think it's definitely from Holland. So to clear everything up, Stella from Belgium, Heineken from Amsterdam in the Netherlands, like that's also known as Holland, and then you got another good one that doesn't have a zero beer variant that I have found was Carlsberg. Carlsberg's from Denmark. So that and then you have your German beers, a lot of German beers. German beers will be in the next 8, and they'll be in that bracket over there. They have zero beers for Germany. But we have to decide which one's better. Now they all have, they have that European taste. Have to decide which one's best. I think sometimes they're good. I don't always go European. I usually go more American. But I do know that some of them are very good. So I've always liked Stella. Although we have to decide on the zero beers. Got the Stella and the Peroni. It's becoming a tough decision because they taste very similar. Stella's a bit lighter. I think Peroni has a bit more taste. They're so similar, it's so hard to make a decision. I think the Peroni has the slightest better taste. And I'm being honest here, so I'm not being biased, because I would normally probably go with Stella, and I know that I like Stella. This is an honest opinion. I like the Peroni just a little bit better. It's not by much. They're very similar. They're drinkable. They're really good. They're pretty good beers. And they're zero beer variants. So you're being a bit healthier. So I go Peroni. I'm going to go Peroni. I'll give it to them. It's a good beer. It's Big Brother beer. The real Peroni is very good, and this was right up par with that. But this is our healthy option. Zero beer, no alcohol. We'll go Peroni, and then have the Peroni ready to take on. And this was a weird one. Now this was a bit of a weird one, but this is, like I said, there's 16 beers total that I had to create to have the brackets. And I've taken out IPAs. IPAs are going to get their own separate competition. They're too much different than some of these beers. But I did need to be like, 16 beers. So this is the whole part of the first 8. And Heineken Zero, let's talk about it, was one of the first I noticed to really branch out. When all you had was O'Doul's, I started to see Heineken Zero, and it became really popular as a zero beer version, because it was different. It was finally something different than O'Doul's. So this had to be one of the more top-notch, strong competitors, because people were really into this one. And if you like a Heineken, and I do like Heineken, I just prefer it to be really ice cold. You got to drink it down. You don't want it to start getting too warm, because it's just the way Heineken is. It has a bit of a taste. Can be a little bit skunky, but if it's ice cold, I think an Heineken is very good. And now Heineken has the zero version. It's going to go up against, and this one is like out of the box a little bit. Bam, Corona's got a zero. And now I'm excited about the Corona Zero, because I love Corona Extra. I like the pop limes in it. I gotta do an honest comparison without the lime, but I'm gonna pop a lime in that Corona Zero. And then the question would be, is it the lime in the Corona unfair advantage, or a secret weapon? I don't know. Maybe it's the secret weapon that's gonna launch Corona to being the top, because that's exactly how I would drink it. I think. I mean, this is the zero beer, and I haven't had it yet. Let's go, Heineken. Heineken. It's real negative when I pop it up on the wall. Here's your Corona. Yeah, Heineken's a good one. Heineken is good. Good taste. I would have liked to see it to go up against these other ones, but I did make it this way. I think if I had it, might have beat them. But here's the thing. I decided it would go up against Corona. So it's going up against Corona. No lime in it. Corona Zero's good even without the lime in it. Totally different thing. When you talk about it, oh, this is a Mexican beer, and it's, so it's different. But we have to decide which one's better. Yeah, it definitely has that Corona taste. Tastes like a Corona. Tastes like a good Mexican beer. And I like them, but we had to be honest about which one was better. I think Corona's good, strong competition, because you got this other 8, and there's some good competitors in there. So we needed something to really have some strong competition over on this end, over on the first 8. I imagine this is going to be great. Popping the lime in it. So I'm going to say, even before I put the lime in it, the Corona's beating Heineken. Heineken's really good. Corona's even better. Corona beating Heineken without even the lime in it. We're going to drink it with a lime in it. Really good. Oh, with the lime in it. Nothing like a Corona with a lime in it. And a Corona Zero does. It's all the same. It just doesn't have the alcohol. If you're looking to be a healthier option person. So Corona dominating Heineken even without the lime in it. So if you wanted to be like, you put the lime in it, you made it a better beer. I don't know if that was fair. Even without it, it beat the Heineken. So Corona moves on and has to take on Peroni. Corona. Corona, without a doubt. Bye-bye, Peroni. Now we're going to be matching up Corona Zero. But first, we have to say without a lime in it. We're taking on Michelob Ultra Zero. So, calling in Michelob Ultra Zero. And what happens now? The winner becomes the #1 contender. So it's not the champion yet. Like I said, there's a whole other 8. This is just the #1 contender. And it'll be Corona Zero versus Michelob Ultra Zero to be #1 contender. Without a lime in it. Corona Zero. You know, it's a good beer. Michelob Ultra Zero was also a really good beer. I'm going to say it's tougher than you think. You may go, Corona all day. Corona all day. It's tougher than you think. Michelob Ultra Zero is a good fucking beer. It has such a good flavor to it. Corona's just more refreshing. I like it better. I do like it better. And you can pop a lime in it. Pop a lime in it. So now it's obviously better than their Michelob. That was just how I would drink it. I would pop the lime in it and drink it, and just like with a Corona, that's how I drink it. So it creates for an interesting dynamic. Is it the secret weapon or is it the unfair advantage? So I gotta go. It's the secret weapon. I wouldn't put a lime in a Michelob. I don't think anyone would. We would put a lime in like an American lager or like American beers. they would put it in the Corona, which makes Corona a very good beer. Even just Corona Extra, really good beer. Put a lime in it. But there are good beers without having to do that whole thing with the lime, and like in the big beer world, like the real beer world. There are really good beers, and I would say, yeah, they're better than Corona, even with a lime in it. But the Michelob Ultra, and now we're talking about the zero beer versions. I'm going to go Corona. I'm going to go Corona not because I had a lime in it, but because it was just a bit better. But Michelob is a strong competitor. It is a good beer. But the Corona is better. I think it's even more drinkable. It's good. And comparable to its big brother. I mean, if you're going to take Corona versus Michelob Ultra, you go Corona all day. Now, these two are very close to their big brother beer. Michelob Ultra Zero is just like a Michelob Ultra. Corona Zero is just like the Corona Extra. So therefore, you gotta go with the Corona. And it gets better. And it needs to be a strong number one contender. So some strong beers coming from the other end. So we're going, the number one contender is Corona Zero. Corona, they call it the non-alcoholic. Corona non-alcoholic is the zero beer. So that's your number one contender. When we have the championship. And I say Corona's a strong competitor for that championship. So, that's it for this episode. We've taken 8 beers and knocked them down to 1. And now we have to do it all over again. Get another 8 beers and knock them down to 1. And they will take each other on in competition to be the champion of the zero beers. That concludes today's episode. Have a good one.